falling autumn leaves, slipping off your shoes, sleeping neath the trees, and songs to make a love to no good.
Well, the truth is, I had absolutely no intention whatsoever of recording a new album this year, but of course I also had no intention whatsoever of being sat at home doing nothing for most of it and all of my gigs being cancelled. So there we were, in lockdown. I was desperate just to sing and communicate with people. So not long after the full lockdown started, I started broadcasting a song every day from my kitchen, from here, from this very place. I called it Kitchen Cabaret. People enjoyed it and started requesting songs, and it became a bit of a thing. And people were saying, oh, that's such a nice song, why don't you put that on the next album? Of course, I wasn't earning any money, I'm still not earning any money, so I put together a Kickstarter campaign to see, and I knew it was cheeky during lockdown because a lot of people weren't working, everybody's struggling, but I tried to raise some money to pay for an album, and people were extraordinarily generous. I attempted to raise just 1,500 quid, which relatively speaking is very, very little for an album. Well, we ended up with nearly £5,500, I think, which was more than enough to record 2 albums and actually spend more time on the first one to do it, make an even better job of it than I thought. My producer Chris Traves was on board, and he has done an incredible job. And what's been really special about this album is that almost all of the songs on the album have been requested here in the kitchen, and many of them I've never sung before. Most of them I've been aware of before, but many of them, the one and only time I've ever done them was in the kitchen. So this truly is an album that's been born out of lockdown, and I really hope, what I love, I get really excited about. I'm always sort of looking around for great bits of positive news, good news items that have come out of this horrible coronavirus situation. So whenever I hear of anybody learning a new skill, or something that's happened that would not have happened had it not been for the virus, I love that. And I think this album is one of those things. So let me tell you the track listing. The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, that takes the top of the bill, because that's a song I never imagined I'd be able to sing. And I remember sitting here and singing it to a really crappy backing track of Celine Dion's version. It sounded awful because I had to transpose it and put it into my key. And I'd been listening to it, but I hadn't actually practiced singing it until I sat here, and I thought, I'll just press record and I'll practice it a few times while I'm recording. But the first time I did it, it was one of those songs that just seemed to fit, and then we had it arranged properly and all sort of orchestrated properly, and I'm so happy with that result, particularly because it's such a surprise for me. Track number 2, On Days Like These, which was requested by a fellow called Mark Best, who's been a great supporter of this album and other things that I've done as well, so hello Mark. And that's the title track of the album, On Days Like These. Then another surprise for me was Jim Croce's Time in a Bottle. I'm reading this off a list, I can never remember the full running order. Time in a Bottle, great tune. If, from David Gates and Bread. My Favourite Year, which was a new one for me, that was requested in the kitchen for the first time, and that's a song that Michael Feinstein, he was the first person to record that, and did a lovely job of it as well, so we've changed it a little bit. And then there's one of 2 original songs that I've written along with my songwriting partner John Nickel. That is What Am I About? Then it's So Nice, Summer Samba, which Andy Williams made famous. Then a Fleetwood Mac song, Songbird, again, another one requested here in the kitchen, the one and only time I've sung it. Then we had Joanna, which is a medley with The Good Life. Then we've got Didn't We, a Matt Monro song, well, a standard. Jimmy Webb wrote it, but Matt Monro did a lovely version of it. Then James Taylor's Something in the Way She Moves, which again was the first time I did that was in the kitchen. The Days of Wine and Roses, which is lovely, the Mancini and Johnny Mercer tune. And then there's the second of the original songs, which is Songs to Make Love To, written by myself. I do the words, John Nickel does the music, and that's the song that was playing right at the beginning of this video. And if you listen carefully, it's playing very quietly while I'm talking to you now. It's got a lovely kind of relaxed vibe. For me, I'm really happy about how these 2 original songs, they do seem to fit quite well on the album, and it's quite a scary thing when you've got these sort of tried and tested, much loved standards that everybody knows, and then you put some original things in there. But I think one of the great things about John Nickel is that he loves this kind of music, as do I, and he's got a real sensitivity to it. So when he's writing the music, I think he's sort of channeling some of the sort of vibe and some of the feel from the great standards of the American songbook and beyond. And then we've got It's Impossible, which was born out of the Perry Como week that we did in the Kitchen Cabaret. Again, it's not a song I've sung before, but I so enjoyed singing those Perry Como songs. And the last track on the album is Where Do I Begin? Love story. You know, where do I begin? And my goodness, when you hear that, it is amazing what Chris Traves, my producer, has done with it. It is the most spectacular. I mean, I can't wait to open a show with the concert orchestra, maybe in Liverpool sometime next year, using that arrangement. It's quite spectacular. So I'm so happy, needless to say, with this album. It's a bit of a departure for me because, you know, there's so many songs on it which I've never sung before and would never have thought of even singing them. It wouldn't have crossed my mind, and I wouldn't have had the time to learn the songs had I not been stuck at home for all of this time. So I think that this album, On Days Like These, is an example of a really positive, long-lasting thing which has come out of this horrible situation. Hopefully the songs on this album we can be enjoying for a long time to come yet. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening to the music, and I will see you soon in the Kitchen Cabaret. That's not going anywhere.
Make love to no good till I'm with you again, with you again.